Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Blessing of Liberties, Josh Flowers.
Well, it is great to be with everybody tonight. It's a little easier coming in last as opposed to first, because first you have to rip off your shirt and run around and hand out things. But being last, I get to put some substance behind this. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I know the weather wasn't as favorable as we wanted, but you guys are troopers and we appreciate you. And you guys are the ones that I want to fight with, right? Because that is what we're going to be doing coming forward. So what I want to talk about today is somewhere there's been a perversion has taken place where our natural inalienable rights are now considered to be an exception to the government. And freedom has never been so fragile or so close to slipping from our grasp as it is in this moment. Our governor believes in order to protect the masses from a public health risk, he must be given the full power of the government. I, for one, resent it. Picking winners and losers, all in the name of public safety. In our country, we are free men and women. This is the very thing that our founders fought and sought to minimize. The government does not control. A government cannot control a public health crisis without controlling the people. And they know when government sets out to do that, it must use force, coercion to achieve its purpose. Here is the most concerning part about all of this. The government knows its limitations. So it is set out to do something that we have never seen before. Americans now face the biggest threat that we've ever seen. Because typically tyranny is an existential threat, but not anymore. The enemies of freedom are not only in our country, but they are holding the levers of power. They realize that the Constitution limits their grasp over the people, so they have devised a scheme to circumvent their constraints. The enemy has coordinated attacks all over the world in forms of private, public partnerships and civil partnerships. This means coercion at the highest level. This allows our government to remain within the constraints of its framework of the Constitution, while allowing businesses and social sites to coerce and force you into compliance. They will ban your speech. They will deny you air travel. They will shut down your businesses. They will shut off your merchant accounts. They'll deplatform your servers, and they will fire you if you do not comply. All designed to strip away your freedoms one by one until you surrender voluntarily. Because by that time we have been weakened both spiritually, morally, and economically. The amount of control which is being sought is frightening. And it can only occur in an America that is not free. They want to control your medical autonomy. They want to control your bank account through digital banking. They want to control your vehicles through electric vehicles so they can shut it off. They want to control your behavior with social credit scores. Make no mistake about it, this is all about control. And it is in the name of the Great Reset. However, if you and I have the courage to tell our elected officials that what we want at the local, state, and national policy level is we want it to be based on what we know in our hearts is morally right. And they cannot buy our security. They cannot take our freedoms. We will not surrender our bodies, and we will not give up our dreams, and we will not make any deals that compromise with our principles. If we do that, we will begin the great uprising. See, there is no greater force on earth than the will and moral courage of a free men and women who move into action. I thank God for the fighters who are here today with us. They are gearing up to go fight for your voice in a battlefield of the enemy's choosing. Their fight will be difficult. It will be daunting. But nonetheless, it is a fight that we must go fight. We pray for our brothers and sisters across this great state and across this great nation to send you reinforcements of epic proportions so you can put the chains and constraints back on this out-of-control government. However, our promise to you is while you go fight the fight abroad, we will work tirelessly to fight the fight right here at home. While we may not be able to affect change easily in Sacramento, we can effectively and drastically have change here at the local level. So let the local level be our battlefield. Let Tulare County be the fallback position for anyone who chooses liberty over tyranny. Here is where we unite and we begin to fight back against a broken system. We must put our heads down and we must fight. Fight, fight, fight. We must do as our settlers did when they ventured out west to this very place that we call home today. Whenever they were threatened by bandits or Indians, they would take a strong defensive position when they saw the threat coming. They would circle the wagons, placing their women and children in the middle and setting up a perimeter to protect them of the approaching threat. This day, let our boundaries of Tulare County be our wagons. Let's be proactive and prepare for what is coming. We will stay off legislation through resolutions, sanctuary cities, and lawsuits. We will stay off inflation by shifting our spending back to the local businesses and keeping our money at home. We will elect our school board members who will reject CRT and SEL. We will carve out the bad money, which has strings attached. We will defend parental rights by getting the parents back in the schools. We will re-elect our constitutional sheriff, Mike Boudreau, who will not only safeguard us in public safety, but he will also push back against the government who decides to violate the Constitution. He will say, no, not in our country or our county. Understand this. When someone steals something from you, that does not make it automatically theirs. You have the right to reclaim it. Actually, you have the duty to reclaim it. Let this be the time you reclaim your rights. We must remember it was just 17 months ago when our last president would close out his speech. Now, I consider it a war cry. He would say, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield, we will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never back down. And we will never, ever surrender. We cannot run and hide from this. We must stand resolute and fight for our liberties and not allow tyranny to gain a stronghold in our great nation.